Around the age of 22, I started showing signs of my mental health diagnosis. I get a shot once a month of 156 milligram Invega Sustenna, and I take medication at night as well. The medication that I was taking made me gain weight, and I had developed an eating disorder during this time. I was obsessed with being thin, and I would quit taking the medication because I was getting so big that I couldn't control my weight. And when I quit taking the medication, that's when I got worse and worse. Because of the activities that were surrounding my mental health diagnosis, I ended up in jail. And I was without the proper medication that I needed. And they could have easily looked up my mental health records from the past and realized that I was acting out in crisis, convinced that all these things were real and that I wasn't in my right mind. No one should have to be locked up in the criminal justice system without medication for 6 months, getting jumped and beat up every day, and having to be moved around in the jail, catching diseases that I no longer have today by the grace of God. My parents would come see me. I'd have black eyes and split lips. No one should have to go through that. Now, it's only by God's grace I got a mental health attorney, and they got me on the medication. And from that point on, I realized within 2 weeks that none of this stuff was real. I believe that these police officers need to be trained in crisis intervention training so they know how to deal with someone going through a mental health crisis without having to stigmatize, without having to resort to violence. The only thing that helped for me is I had someone who met me where I was, and they stayed with me every step of the way, and they never gave up on me.